$30,000 Mini Cooper. I was like, I just have to go talk to my partner, Stefanie. We didn't know how we were going to get that money.
I'm single as a Pringle.
Well, I'm single as a Pringle too. That's total BS. He was like, you never asked me that question.
Another week goes by. No money.
Another.
Welcome back to the Investor Unite podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship.
If you're looking to ignite your real estate investing, join us at Investors Unite. And on today's episode, we have an in-house episode.
Yeah.
So we don't have any guests coming today. It's just you're getting
us.
the raw version of me and Stefanie.
Yeah.
Or Stefanie and myself, proper grammar.
It's been a little minute, so
It has.
a lot has been going on.
We got some updates for y'all, and
Yeah.
we're going to do a Q&A and possibly a live Q&A at the end.
I don't know.
Still up in the air.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. See how
Yeah.
long we can get the content to go for.
Yeah. But
So, yeah.
it's been a roller coaster for sure.
Oh my God, it has. So we've definitely had a couple good things happen.
Yeah.
And we've had some interesting things happen, to say the least.
Yep.
Where do you want to start off?
I mean, overall, like, how are you doing? How's your week been, you know?
Man, I'm chilling.
Yeah?
Nah, I'm doing all right. Getting closer and closer to quitting that 9 to 5, so that's always very exciting. I'm very ready for that. In terms of that refi, well, I'm not going to go into that yet. I'll talk about myself for a second. Yeah, I mean, the weather's getting warmer, and, I definitely thrive during summertime and, warm weather. It gets me that energy. I want to go back outside, start exercising again.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, really just, even outside of that, really motivates you to do more work, I think.
It does.
So, yeah, no, I'm doing good, though. I mean,
awesome.
Definitely still stressed when it comes to, finances and money, but it is what it
blessed.
is.
We ain't stressed.
And it is what it is,
Yeah.
Take it day by day. And
Day
then,
by day.
yeah, just go from there. I mean, nothing bad's going to happen, so we're doing good.
Yeah.
How about you? How you been?
Man, I'm feeling blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. That's how I do it. I take it day by day, and it feels like the days are just going by so much faster.
They are.
So, I wake up at 4 a.m. now, and, just waking up, my days are just, it seems like you have more time, but,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You formed some good habits recently.
I try.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Just, a couple of things that you've incorporated into, your
Yeah.
daily life?
I mean, I basically, number one is, having a morning routine, so, I'm very, focused on that. If I don't do that, I know my whole day is going to be off, and there's, a day I really don't miss.
Yeah.
And the first thing, I'll typically wake up at 4 a.m. I'll read the Bible. After I read the Bible, then I'll get a workout in. Mm-hmm. After I get a workout in, I actually just started implementing meditation into my routine, literally this week.
How long are you doing that for?
I mean, roughly 10 minutes or so. So nothing too long.
Yeah.
And
It's still
you
good, though.
feel so relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's the goal during meditation? Is it just completely clear your mind, or focusing on your task for the day, or what do you kind of do during that time?
for me, I just want to put myself in a high frequency state. So meditation and what's the word? Manifestation.
Okay.
So I'll manifest what they say. So I've been reading the book. I read the book, The Power and The Secret, and now I'm on Cybernetics, and it talks about your mind's so powerful where your nervous system can't determine a regular experience versus what an imaginary experience
euphoric
is.
Experience almost.
Yeah, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So you can literally attract what you want, which is crazy because you know how I want a G-Wagon, and I'm gonna get a G-Wagon.
And we keep seeing them all the time.
And the more this whole week, literally me manifesting it, I've been seeing them every single day. Before we just came to the office, I saw one.
That's crazy.
I just didn't send it to you so you don't get annoyed.
I don't get annoyed by that. I love cars.
Yeah, so doing the meditation, which is great.
Nice. So another thing you touched on was reading. So you just flew through 3 books in the past week?
Man, I'm flying through. So, I do read in the morning too. So after I meditate, I'll do the shower and then the cold shower part at the end for 3 minutes. After my cold shower, then I'll do, that's when I'll read. That's when I'll read for 30 minutes to an hour. Just all depends on my day. And then get my day started at the office.
All right. There you go.
So.
Yeah. Did you bring up cold showers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You got to try that.
I mean, I do every now and then, just turn the water on freezing. I actually did it right before I came here just to wake myself up a little bit.
That's good, yeah.
I don't think I did it for too long, maybe a minute. And I was it was one of those, heavy breathing.
Start huffing and
All right, get out of here, get out. Swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely whenever we, it's getting hot outside now, so cold
Yeah.
plunge, once we get that money, we definitely got to get that up in here.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. Something that you said, though, in regards to a morning routine, this is kind of like becoming more of a controversial topic, I feel.
I know what you're going to say. With like Alex Hormozy.
Right, exactly.
Do you think like
Exactly.
there should be a morning routine, or should there be, you get up and you just work?
So I think it really comes down to the person. I think that if you're able to be more productive with your work during the day because of a morning routine, then you should definitely implement that. Obviously not draw it out to the point where it's interfering with the amount of work that you're capable of getting done in a day. But if that's something that helps you personally, then I think that's something that you should incorporate.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing your morning routine and like you're not really noticing a difference, like let's say you go through and do a whole morning routine, it takes you like 2 hours one day, and then you get work done, like say like 6 hours worth of work. But the next day you decide not to do your morning routine. You just wake up, you do the work again. You realize you get like about the same amount done. At that point, I think that it's almost not necessary to have a morning routine at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know for myself because I don't have a morning routine.
Yeah.
I get up, I get dressed, I brush my teeth, I go out the door. Like it's like 5 minutes, I'm out.
And I feel like in regards to a morning routine, like the reason I like it so much is not just so, I have a morning routine, but for so like my mindset.
Yeah.
Like it helps me to stay calm. It helps me to, relax whenever we have situations that arise.
All the time.
So, so like whenever things happen, I'm like, it is what it is, know?
Exactly.
And we're just on to the next thing,
Speaking of tough situations, do you want to dive into this this lawsuit possibility kind
of
situation going on?
We're suing someone.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Still up in the air, and I don't know. I think we already chose the title for this video, right?
We already got the title, yeah.
It might be a little clickbait because we're not exactly sure yet, but...
No, we did get scammed.
Well, no, we definitely... Oh, that was the title?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember we were debating between a couple different options between, like, we got scammed or we're in a lawsuit or...
Yeah, no, we got scammed, guys.
We did. Something crazy happened, and... We'll dive into the story in a little bit, but like I've talked to a couple attorneys now about this, and they're like 30 plus years of experience. They're like, I've never witnessed this. This is a first. And based off of just talking to those two guys, who, they're like, no, like, dude, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've never seen this happen. He was like, that guy, he's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, like he's something else. And the crazy thing before we get into it is like the first thought, like when this happened, I was like. And you were like, too, this is going to be so much good content for the podcast. Like, we don't even care about the suing part. We're just like content.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely love like giving you guys some
behind the scenes
some good
footage.
Entertainment, like letting you know what can happen in the real estate business.
Yeah.
And I mean, just learn from our endeavors, ventures, whatever you want to call it, situations.
But do you want to get started? Because it kind of all started with you because your dad actually found this lead.
Yeah.
And this was going to be a wholesale deal. So if you want to dive into that.
Sure. So I'll use names. It shouldn't matter.
I don't know.
I don't think it'll matter.
Just use Luigi for.
You want me to use Luigi? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Name. Okay, so yeah, basically the situation here is about a year and a half ago, my dad and his girlfriend knew of a guy. I think it was through his girlfriend. His name's Rob.
Yeah.
And he owned this property over in Duncannon, which is about 20 minutes north of Harrisburg or so.
Not too far.
It's not too far. I mean, it's a small town. It looks like it's been there for like a long time. A little ran down. But my dad, he's that kind of guy where he wants to live kind of like in an isolated location just away from anything major. Like he's told me a couple times, he's like, man, he was like, don't be surprised if I just disappear one day. He was like, I might just go off the grid. I'm just like, that's the kind of person my dad is, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of get the gist of what this location's like. But anyways, so he went to go buy this property from Rob. And Rob, his intentions, so he had bought this property a little while back, like I forget, I think it was about 7 years ago. He had intentions of buying it, doing like a fix and flip on it, whatnot.
Yeah.
And he got it for a dirt cheap price, like something ridiculously low, where it wasn't like stressing him out with, financial reasons to hold on to it. But then after a while, I mean, he just became busy and stopped doing work on the property. So it just became vacant. And the thing about this property is that on the back side of it, there's actually a pretty substantial creek that runs along the back side of the property.
Super close.
Yeah, like it's like up against the foundation.
Literally right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So another issue, like this doesn't really matter too much, but the water has actually completely like eroded the retaining wall. So the retaining wall for the back porch is like completely fallen into the creek. Yeah. And it's like it's close to impossible to even get a truck on the other side of the creek to like, dig it out.
Like if 10 people are standing on that thing is crumbling.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like half of it's just like floating. It's bad. So it was a little bit of a struggle to find a buyer, but we eventually did. So my dad was planning on buying this property, and come to find out, I mean, there was like $8,700 just in back taxes and liens, not including the rehab. And my dad did have several contractors come out there and like give him bids for the amount that it's going to be, just to get that retaining wall fixed in the back porch. And my dad's like, all right, this is like way more than I was expecting. And he never officially closed on the property. Like, they had title at the title company. Like, they were ready to close, just trying to figure out how much was still owed. And my dad was doing his due diligence by going through and getting the bids. At the end of the day, he made the decision of like, no, like, I'm not doing it. Now, something that's going to play in a little bit later into the story is that my dad had actually already started moving his stuff in. He had a bunch of stuff from his previous property, and he was living at my grandma's in the meantime, or his mom. And so he had just like a bunch of his stuff just sitting in his house, right? So I talked to my dad about it, and I was like, so like, what's the guy planning on doing with it? Like, since you're not going to buy it? He's like, I don't know. I mean, do you want his contact? Like, see if you can do something with it. I was like, yeah, this could be like a really easy wholesale deal, right?
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, it's like 20 minutes north of Harrisburg, so it's like good location. It's not bad. So yeah, I mean, I got in contact with Rob, and then I pretty much just explained to him, like, listen, like, I may be the one purchasing this property, but I also may not be. Like, I'll have to go there, also bring some of my contractors in there to do a bid. Just let me know if it's even possible to be done. And then either way, I was like, I can, help you get this property off your hands. Because at this point in time, it's just piling up for the back taxes.
He was just tired of it.
Yeah, he wasn't. I think it was backed up from 2019. So it was like 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Plus with the county, like, bugging him about the...
Exactly, like the environmental issues. Porch. Right. So he was extremely grateful. He was like, I don't even want any money out of the deal. He was like, just honestly, like, get it sold, like, get all the back tax and stuff taken care of if you're capable of doing that. I was like, yeah. I was like, listen, we've been doing this for a little while. I was like, I'm able to get that paid off for you. And I was like, I'll throw you $1,000 in your pocket at the end of the day too. Because I knew there was a little bit of a margin there, just based off the comparables in the area. Yeah. So then, not struck a deal, signed a contract with him.
Yeah, we had to write up like a termination for your dad and
my
him.
Dad's contract.
So we helped them with that. Yeah. And then we started a new agreement with us and Rob. Right. And that's when we started marketing, posted on Facebook. Yep. Reached out to a lot of buyers and stuff.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, since he was like, we were very transparent in the beginning about what our intentions with this property were, where we don't know if we're going to be the one buying it. That's when we were able to go through and like list it on a Facebook marketplace and really just market it out there without having to worry about him seeing that.
And he was fine too, because I think during that time we told him we may even have to list it on the market.
Yeah. Like, we pitched a possible novation if necessary. Yeah. So yeah, he was completely understanding. He just wanted the property off of stands.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which perfect. So everyone hates on wholesalers because you think we're stealing equity, but you run into situations like this, and it's like the guy just literally didn't want the property, and he was piled high in back taxes and liens. So situation where we can step in and help out, right? So yeah, like you said, I mean, we did a lot of marketing. We had a lot of buyers come out and take a look at it. I went up there more times than I'd like to say to do showings. Sometimes they even have the buyers show.
Make that drive for no reason.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's not too far out the way, but waste of time.
And then there's this one showing. So like, we were getting tired because there's people not showing up. So we were, qualifying them even harder. Yeah. And I was doing the qualifying, and then I was like, yo, we got a solid buyer.
I need like POF, like proof of funds.
Sent me everything. I was like, he wants to see it today at this time. Are you good? And you guys met up. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you had texted me earlier that day or called me, whatever. And told me we had a qualified buyer. Like, can you be there at 5 o'clock? I was like, yeah, not a problem. Like, I'm ready to get this thing sold, make that drive out there again. So I meet up with this guy. I forget his name, but moral of the story, showed him around the property. He brought his wife along with him. He himself was a general contractor. So he was like, man, he was like, I think I can do it. He was like, I mean, I've only been doing this for a little while. He was like, but I mean, he's like, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I got a good team and like I think I'll be able to fix it. Yeah. I'm like, all right, yeah, no, not a problem. His wife refused to even come into the property. Like she just stood outside like this the entire time.
She's like, I ain't having it.
It's like just looking
you already
mad.
Know that look.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And you know how relationships typically go. If the wife says no, it's a no-go.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, we went through. I had the conversation with the dude, and he was like leaving. Or he was getting ready to leave, and he was like, he invited me to dinner with him and his wife, actually. I was
so
like...
random.
Yeah, so random. It was nice of them. And then I was like, possibly. And then the neighbor, Luigi, Luigi, he started walking down the street, and he was just like standing outside the door as I'm having this conversation. So I kind of, went back to... I went to go talk to Luigi. I was like, hey, like, what's up? What's going on? He was like... Oh, I live right down the street over here. And I'm not going to fake this accent, actually. Yeah. It might get really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so he came over and he was like, I went to buy the, oh my God, I'm going to do it every time. Dude, it's such a natural thing. Like the dude has such he's from Argentina. So, and like freshly from Argentina.
Yeah.
He's like a 5'4" dude. Like it's a character to say the least. So yes, he came over and I was like, "Are you interested in purchasing the property? Like, what's your idea with it? Like, would you be interested in buying it?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "I already came over to take a look at the property." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "You know about like the retaining wall and everything, and like what's necessary to be done on the inside?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I mean, just admitting to breaking into this guy's house.
You literally.
Whatever. Right. So I was like. And then he asked me, he was like, well, what are you asking? I was like, well, we're asking $42,000, right? That's what we have it listed for.
Yeah.
We didn't get any offers close to that before this time, which we were obviously very negotiable. But he came in and he was like, before even like walking in the property with me at all, he was like, I'll do $30,000 cash. I was like, I mean, that's not quite the 42, but I was like, I think we might be able to work something out. He was like, what if I do 30,000 and a Mini Cooper? I was like, a Mini Cooper? He was like, yes. He was like, I have it down the street. Come take a look. So I was like, all right. Well, followed him down the street. And yeah, lo and behold, he has 2 Mini Coopers just sitting there.
Yeah.
And he was like, so this one's a 2012, this one's 2014, both Countrymen Club S's or whatever the spec of, whatever it is. I'm just like, okay, I mean, does it work and everything? He was like, yeah. So we started it up, whatnot. I was like, 30,000 in Mini Cooper. I was like, I just have to go talk to my partner, Stefanie. I was like, but I think we can probably work something out. So at this point in time, I had given you a call. I let you know what the situation was with Luigi.
Yeah, you called me. You said, hola, ¿cómo estás? I was like, what are you happy about?
I was so ready to get rid of this property.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I explained to you what his offer was, and you're like, man, we're going tomorrow to get this contract right now.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, bet. I was like, I'll hit him up, let him know. And he showed me his property, which is literally just a couple doors down from the one that we were trying to sell. And on the outside, his property just looked like a disaster, but you walked inside, it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Like so the next day when I went, then I saw the property too. I was like, I got to see it because you were talking so highly of it.
Yeah.
And he made his deck in the back sit over the creek.
It's over top of the creek.
And the creek is like a really nice creek.
It is. It's very peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, really tranquil back there.
So yeah, we sat down at his like dining room table, went over the assignment agreement because we were gonna assign it over to him. He had his questions. We answered his questions. He was like, can I have a copy? I was like, yep. Did you have a copier machine here? He didn't have a copier at his house. So I was like, I can scan you, and send it through email or anything like that. He was like, no, I'll just take a photo. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So he took that photo. Everything was good, sent it to the title company the next day. And then they started the title search, running that and everything. Yeah, so they started doing the title search. And like I was saying, this guy, Luigi, I think you accidentally said his real name. Did I say it? I think you did. I could be wrong, though. Did I? I don't know. We'll have to go back and look. It's whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, so he's, like I was saying, he's, like, freshly from Argentina. And it seems as though he doesn't know exactly how, like, title work and documentation between transfer of deeds works within the U.S., right? So I told him, I was like, okay, these are going to the title company. I was like, all you have to do is by this date, I need you to go drop off a earnest money deposit. Which was $2,000. $2,000, right. Yeah. So the day that, actually the following day, it was like a Monday,
he walks into the title company with $30,000 cash.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the deed to his Mini Cooper, or the title.
Title, yeah.
And the Capstone, the title company that we use, shout out Capstone.
Capstone Land Transfer.
Love them. They're just like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? We can't take cash.
We don't know who you are.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And like I was saying, his English is not the best. It's a little broken. I guess he like tried to explain it to him. They're like, okay, like they figured out who he was associated with and everything, but he was like, or they basically told him like, just go put that back in your bank and like take a check out because we can't accept cash here. Same thing with the title to the car. Like they're like, we can't do anything with this right now. They could have probably thrown that in escrow, actually. I don't know. Right. But yeah, so they called me and tell me that the situation happened where Luigi came in, tried to give him cash, they denied him, whatnot. So I'm gonna come back the next day with a check. I was like, okay. I can't recall if I texted him afterwards and like let him know. Like,
I think you did.
I might have,
because you told me. I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I didn't know what to do. Like, we just had to wait until closing was, clear to close.
Right. So yeah, he still had a couple days from the time frame that he took the cash into the title company to actually get his earnest money deposit there. So I think I waited a couple of days, and then I contacted the title company that Friday morning when the earnest money deposit was supposed to be there. And I was like, hey, by the way, did he ever come to drop that off? And she was like, no, I haven't heard from him. I was like, all right, that's not a problem. I'll give him a call, see what's going on. Call him, doesn't answer. Left a voicemail. Waited like 2 hours.
And I think even I called him.
You called him, and then I called him again. Still not answering. We're like, all right, what's going on here? Like, is he backing out? Because we're already under contract, but at least like let us know. And then he texts me like right after I get done calling him for the third time or whatever. And he was the gist of the text, because I'm not going to go through and read it, was basically, hey, Skyler, I had met with the homeowner, Rob, and we worked out a deal. The property is now off the market. Like, basically what he was saying. I was like, what are you talking about? You met with the homeowner, the property's off the market? Like, no. What do you mean? Right. So I then, later that day, like, I text him back, and he doesn't respond the rest of the day. So I'm like, nah, like, I'm figuring out what the heck's going on. So I go back to the property, and this day, it was actually a extremely rainy day. And to get to this property, you have to cross like this bridge that goes across the Susquehanna River, which is a pretty substantial river. Yeah. Dude, the water was so high, it went over the bridge. Like, I've never seen it that high. It was crazy. So I was like, I don't even know how to get to Duncannon right now. But it turns out I just had to loop the whole way back around through Harrisburg and then come up past like Enola, Marysville way, out that side. Finally get to the property. And the first thing I notice is that the lock is off the door and the deadbolt's on. So I'm like, oh no.
Oh, and another thing. So when we went under contract with the seller, like, he didn't have a key or anything like that. So we were like, no, that's all good. We can just get a doorknob for you. So we went to Home Depot and got that.
Right. So we had our own doorknob on there, our own set of keys. Nobody else had keys to this property except for us. So I go there and I see that our door handle that we had put on this property is off the property, and he just has the deadbolt locked on. So I like look through the window, and I see that all my dad's stuff, which my dad, he owned a Snap-on franchise. So, like, he had a bunch of, like, Snap-on tools, and, like, he's really been into, like, RC racing. So, like, this is expensive stuff, like, a lot of money. I see that it's, like, scattered throughout the house. And I'm like, dude, I saw red. Like, I was like, oh, no. I turned around, I bashed that door open. The whole frame came off the property. I was just heated. I was like, nah, what is he?
It was just you there at the time.
It was just me.
Yeah, I didn't go.
Yeah. So I was like, nah, like, what's going on? Like, I was hoping Mario was in. Oh.
Luigi.
So close. I was hoping Luigi was in there. So I could confront him about this situation. So I look around and I realized, like, not all my dad's stuff is there that was there previously. So now I'm like fuming because I haven't told my dad about any of this yet. And like, me and my dad, we're not the closest. I think we've talked about this maybe a little bit in the past, and he gets angry sometimes, and it's a little bit scary, right? So I'm like, dude, like, if he messed with my dad's stuff or sold it or threw it away or anything, like, that's my butt. I am done for. So I then go down. I go to Luigi's door and I start like knocking on it and no answer. But he owns a multifamily, so I went to all of his units. Like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he owned 109, 109A, and 109B. I was over there pounding on every door. I was like, no, get out.
Getting the tenants, I'm getting everywhere.
Get out of here, right? And I get no answer. So I'm like, bro, I don't know what to do. So I went back to the property and I took the entire deadbolt off of the door and like try to put everything back together. But like, so that the property wasn't locked in any kind of way. Just like, I don't know, just whatever I did. Wasn't really thinking clearly.
Yeah.
And as I'm doing that, I turn around and I see like one of the tenants come out of the property. So I book it down the road. I'm like, yo, hold up. And like, as I get up to the doorway, I see Luigi standing in the door. I look and I'm like, I need to talk to you about something. Yeah. He was like, all right, I'm talking to my tenant. Give me a second. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Finish with your tenant. I'm not. At this point, so they finished their conversation. I started talking. I'm like, what did you do? Like, what did you do? Yeah. And I'm trying to like not be emotional, but like at the same time, it's my dad's stuff, and that's what really got me going. And he was like, I got the owner to sign a quick deed claim. And I went over and I transferred the deed. It's my property now. I was like, what do you mean? We were under contract, like everything. I was like, you never informed me about any of this. You tried to take the money to the title company. They rejected your cash. He was like, yeah, I tried. He was like, no, I did it my way. I was like...
And then you called me.
Right, so I called you because I knew I was about to murder this this guy.
I started going off on the phone. I did it in this, like, politeful way, though.
Yeah, you did it in, like, a Stefanie kind of way.
Yeah.
Where I was there, I was like, all right, you need to listen here, buddy.
You're probably all red.
Dude, I was so heated. Yeah. I was ready to go. Like, this little 5'4" dude, and I swear to God.
I said, we're taking you to court.
Yeah, no, you did. I told him, I was like, what you did was, like, illegal. I was like, we had a legally binding contract. We were supposed to close on this property on April 12th. We're just a couple days before that. So what he did was he had went over... when he noticed that the homeowner, Rob, had stopped by the property the one day. Yeah. And he hurried up and printed off a quick claim deed. Yeah. Real quick. And like took it over to him. And basically what Rob had told us was this guy, Luigi, came up to him and
said that he was kind of with us.
Right. Said that he knew both of us. He had like all the information on the property about the back taxes and the liens and the amount. And then... that he was our buyer, and pretty much the final step to the process of us closing was that Rob just needed to sign this piece of paper. Yeah. Right? So he's like, all right, well, just come to a notary with me so everything's like legal and we'll sign this paper. And Rob's like asking Luigi, like, should we call Stefanie and Skyler to make sure like everything is right? And Luigi's like reassuring him, like, no, it's fine. Like, don't call them. It's okay. Right? Rob's like, I mean, okay. And then so we'll find this out a little bit later. But so that's what they did. They went to a notary and then they went down to the courthouse. I think Luigi just went to the courthouse by himself, was like, listen, like I have this quick claim deed signed by...
It's a tongue twister, huh?
It is. It's signed by the seller and myself, and it's notarized and everything. I just need you to transfer it. Right. And at the time that they transferred the deed, he had to pay off all those back taxes and liens and fees and whatever else was associated with the property. So Luigi went and did that, and then... courthouse didn't know any better because there was no Liz pendants on the property or anything like that. So yeah, they went through, just transferred it,
and then paid him $10,000 under the table.
Well, I was getting to that, but yeah. So basically, the property at this point in time is Luigi's, and like he shows. So as we're there and we're having this conversation in the doorway, I have you on the phone. I'm talking to him like, why did you do this? Like, what made you think this was appropriate? We have signed contract, everything. And then there was something I just wanted to say. Lost it.
What? Oh, he was not trying to show us
I remember.
The agreement that he signed. We're like, you
he wasn't trying to show us that. And then his defense to us was that he had asked our seller, Rob, if he had ever signed a contract with me and you. And he was saying, like, no, Rob said that you guys don't have a contract. Like, the property was never on the market. Like, you don't have a contract with him or anything. I was like, that's total BS. I was like, I can show you the contract we have.
It's right here.
I was like, I have the contract. Show me your deed, right? So I show him the contract. He shows me his deed. I'm like, all right, bud. Yeah. I'm going to come back tomorrow and get all this stuff out the property. I was like, where's the rest of it? He was like, oh, I have it in my house. I was like, let me see it. Dude, his entire living room is just full of my dad's Snap-on stuff. I'm like, do not touch any of this. I was like, the way I see it now, leave it there. I was like, do not touch it. Like, I will be back tomorrow. And if it's not here, you're going to have to deal with my dad. Because I don't know what to tell you. Right. So, Right. I didn't flip out on him too much in that instance while we were there, just because I was like, I know this is going to come down to court.
Yeah.
Right. Some kind of legal situation. So kept my cool, whatnot, left completely like mind blown. Like, is everything he did, like, is that possible? Is it legal?
This whole time, mind you, we're trying to get a hold of the seller because the seller is so hard to get a hold of since he's super busy.
His work schedule's ridiculous.
Yeah. So he's a busy guy, and we're like messaging him, and then.
Yeah. And then I told you to say something for him.
Say that like it's super urgent. We're about to go in a lawsuit or something. And that's when he was like, oh, I'm responding.
Yep, there it is. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, do you want to explain the conversation we had with Rob over the phone?
Yeah, so we basically asked him to explain his story of what happened. And basically what you said is what happened, of what he told us.
Oh, yeah,
and
I already did kind of explain.
Yeah. So,
sorry, my bad.
So, and then he did say he gave him $10,000 under the table.
Right.
And we're like, well, we're going to be taking legal action against him.
Right.
He's like, well, I already spent the $10,000.
Yeah, our seller was like, yo, I already spent the 10. Like, what do we do?
I was like, oh, shoot, because that was such a short time frame. But I was like,
oh, my God, yeah, it was like 5 days later. Not even.
So I told him, I was like, don't worry about it. We'll cover it. You don't have to worry about it. You're chilling.
Right.
So
we just wanted him not to stress because this property has already been like such a headache for him.
Yeah.
We're like, listen, like the 10 grand, that's under the table. It's not on a HUD. That's undocumented money. That's yours. You spent it. Fine.
Yeah.
Luigi's loss.
Yeah. So, another thing. So on the assignment agreement, we made sure to write 2014 Mini Cooper.
We did.
Yeah.
We wrote 2014 Mini Cooper.
So we're going to have that. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. So another thing that I asked while we were on the phone with Rob, I was like, did Luigi ever ask... Did Luigi ever ask you if we have a signed contract to sell the property? He was like, no, he never asked me that. Yeah. I was like, okay, because he told me that he asked you and you told him that we have no signed contract. He was like, that's total BS. He was like, he never asked me that question whatsoever. He was like, obviously we have a contract. This is why we've been in the talks the entire time about selling my property. I was like, yeah. I know this. You don't got to tell me. Trust. Right. So, yeah, at this point in time, I was like, okay, well, that's like a perfect case to build against Luigi. I was like, so let's just get in contact with our attorney, who also happens to work at Capstone Land Transfer. Love that guy. And so, yeah, we got him on the phone, I believe, the day later or 2 days later, because it was a weekend or something like that.
Yeah, and he connected us with another attorney, which you called, and then now we're working on everything behind the scenes, but that's pretty much it for that side of things. Right. I mean,
so as of now,
there's going to be more, but like.
So as of now, there's a couple different ways that this could go. It could go.
I don't know if we should say.
I mean, this won't be released. What's today? Oh,
it's going to be released Friday. Yeah, so I feel like we shouldn't say.
Okay. So there's a couple ways.
Maybe in a later podcast.
There's a couple ways this could go. We'll keep you updated with what goes on.
Yeah.
What happens in this situation. But that's kind of where we're at right now. We do have a couple different strategies that we could go about this. So it's just going to come down to really whatever Luigi decides that he wants to go through.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to wait for that and see how it plays out. But yeah, crazy situation. So like I said, I talked to both attorneys and like explained to them the situation. Both of them, long time in being attorneys, real estate attorneys specifically. They're like, we've never seen this happen. Like that guy is slick. Like he's a little scammy, sneaky guy.
He's a sneaky guy.
He is. He's sneaky.
But
So yeah, crazy situation.
Yeah, to some good news though, we closed on a 4-unit.
Yeah, we got another property.
Yeah, so now that puts us at well,
yeah,
puts us at 13
so
doors.
that put us at 13.
But we actually are keeping one of our properties that we were going to fix and flip. So we're at 14 doors.
Yeah, the one on Sylvan Terrace. I think we talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
So that one's been
that's been something.
That's been real something. You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we can go quick with that one. So our initial thing was to rent it out. But then we're like, we don't want single families, so we're like, no.
And we were hurting for capital at this time too.
That as well. So that's why we were like, all right, let's just flip it. So we put it on the market in January, like mid-January or early January, then went under contract towards the end of January. And then we had the appraisals happen. You had to get 2 appraisals because of FHA. One came at one price. The other came a little bit below, but they always have to go with the lowest price.
11,000 below.
With FHA, so.
Yeah, it hurt us a little bit.
Yeah, we were negotiating that and everything, but we're like, all right, cool, let's move forward.
Yeah, I mean, we're being to go. Right, and we're being like as nice as possible. Like,
giving the buyer 6% seller assistance.
Like they already tried to back out before, and like we're like,
giving them a home warranty.
Gave them a home warranty, 6% seller's assistance, like you said. Like that's
did all the repairs for FHA, everything, and it was only like subtle repairs.
Paid for all these appraisals out of our pocket, everything, right?
And after that, we're just kind of waiting on grant money for the buyer to close because we're pretty much all set to close. We're just waiting on their money.
Right. So,
and that should have happened towards end of like March. And then another week goes by. Money's still not here. Another week goes by. No money. Another. Our bank account is going lower and lower with our interest payments.
Man, we were already at zero.
I know.
We're holding on for dear life every day.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, what's absolutely crazy is like, this family, I think it's just her and her kids, right? They're trying to.
We don't got to get too deep into it.
No. I'm just saying, they're trying to buy this property, and it's like, okay, you're going FHA, which is only 3.5% down. Mm-hmm. Your agent, she's not paying for the agent. We're paying for the agent.
Yeah, we're paying for the agent.
So they're not even worried about that. Plus, we're giving you 6% seller's assistance. So that more than covers just your down payment, and then you have closing costs. So like, in my head, because I'm not.
The lender fees are just crazy. I don't know like what they're adding.
Right. So yeah. At the end of the day, she's basically trying to buy this house with not having a single dollar in her account, which obviously can create financial issues and things like this happen. So, apparently at the end of the day, she would have still needed another $8,000 to close what she was waiting for in grant money from the city. City of Harrisburg takes forever to do absolutely anything.
Like, it could have been another 6 months.
Love you, Harrisburg, but you really need to get on top of that stuff.
So, we made the decision, which... the buyer agent, I know he was getting tired of it and everything.
Yeah, but because we're checking in all the time. Like, did she get that grant yet? It's been like 2 full months. We're like, this property we've just been paying these interest payments on month over month,
sitting there,
insurance and everything. We're like, we need to do something here. Yeah, so we're trying to be nice and like wait it out as long as possible.
Yeah, but I felt bad, like. You're like, it's a business decision.
It is. I mean, we're just losing money on the property that we could be making $1,000 cash flow a month.
Crazy cash flow.
Right, exactly. So it's like, at the end of the day, I try to be nice and like, take as much time for the buyer as necessary.
But there was so much more that happened in the process too. Like she backed out of the deal, and then a day later, after we were marketing for a tenant, she was like, I made a mistake.
She was like,
and
crying
I want to come back. And then we were like, okay, we'll come back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think the Lord wants us to reach that goal of 100 doors by August or the end of the year, whatever it is. So that puts us at 14 doors.
Right. So we're going to keep that one, refi it out, get some tenants in there. We do have our guy from the Refugee Association. He's trying to find tenants currently. Not just refugees, though. I mean, he works with, like, government people, Section 8.
Section 8, all that.
Yeah, he's kind of just, like, a scout for these tenants.
So that's that.
Right, so we're at 14 doors.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of doing the refi. Not even the middle, towards the end of doing the refinance.
We should be at the very end. We're at the home stretch of the refinance in that 5-unit building.
Paid for the appraisal. It was $3,400.
Yep. So, we didn't know how we were going to get that money.
We don't know how we're doing most of this stuff right now.
I know, and we ran into quite some issues on the duplex on 6th Street.
Yeah.
That's been a process too.
It's been something.
That was going to be one of my questions for the Q&A later with you.
Yeah, we can wait for that.
Do you want to give like a brief overview of that situation? Like kind of just where we are with it?
So right now, we had 2 contractors work on it, and now the last contractor, like they're doing the finishing touches on it.
Yep.
It's taking a little bit longer. Skyler and I don't know how we're going to get this money for appliances, honestly.
Honestly, no idea.
And it's like appliances, what, $600?
So it's a duplex. So let's say a stove is like $600 a piece. So there's $1,200. A fridge is like $800 at best a piece.
Yeah.
So there's another $1,600. So $2,400 just in appliances, just for a stove and fridge.
But we don't even stress because God literally works it out. He does. You cannot lie. I mean, he really
somehow
does.
We're holding on. Like, I thought we had to file for bankruptcy.
Nah.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, don't play
I'm
that.
Just playing. I'm
don't
just playing.
Play that.
We'll edit that out.
But I think that's it in regards to everything. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Not really. I mean, that's kind of where we're at currently. So something, just being completely transparent with the audience.
Yeah.
Kind of where we are right now is still extremely lacking capital and like getting by the skin of our teeth somehow. Amen. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we have actually backed off on our marketing a little bit. And the past 2 weeks, we've had our cold caller. She's going to be off for the past 2 weeks. So, she was perfectly okay with. It's not like.
And it was her suggestion.
It was.
Just so like, because she kind of knew where our finances were, just because we're so transparent. Like, we're literally like a family.
It's a team.
We want to tell them, like, this is how the company's doing.
Yeah.
If the company's doing good or if it's not doing as well at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So we're trying to save a couple bucks there. Granted, we're not going to have as many outbound leads coming in. We are still trying to do probates as much as possible, but we kind of don't even have enough money for stamps right now.
Stamps. Yeah, that sounds so bad.
That sounds really bad. Great content, though.
Got no money for stamps.
Yeah, that's a clip right there. Snippet.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been our life, but we're super happy about where we've.
At the end of the day, like, sure, we're hurting for capital, but we're 23 years old with 14 doors.
Yeah.
I don't know too many.
Still living with our parents.
Still living with the parents. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe might get a Mini Cooper out of this situation.
Who knows? You guys stay tuned.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a good part to transition to some questions.
Go into some Q&As.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't really know what we were going to talk about too much for this podcast, and we wanted to set this podcast up for the next in-house one we did with just you and myself, of doing kind of a recap of the 5-unit building after we get the refinance done and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, kind of had to hurry it up a little bit, just awkward timing with, certain guests and stuff like that. So we had to push it to today. Just idea, I was like, why don't we just do like a Q&A? Like, you have quite the social media following. I was like, why don't you just go make a post real quick on Facebook? Just say, if you have any questions related to real estate, like, please drop them in the comments below.
Yeah.
We're going to incorporate these on our next podcast. And then another idea was like possibly a live Q&A, because we could possibly go on TikTok. We used to do that in the past a lot.
Maybe we'll have to do that another time.
Yeah, I was saying we don't have to do it today. But so yeah, let's dive into some questions, and you're actually gonna hear from the man behind the camera today.
The man behind the cam.
The man behind the cam.
Hello, guys. So I got a list of questions here for you. I'm just gonna start reading them off.
Okay.
All right.
You guys answer as best you can. So, do you think getting your real estate license to invest in real estate is a good idea?
I'll let you answer that since you got the license.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't regret anything that I've done. I like how we have access to the MLS, which I know some investors, they reach out to agents, build a relationship with them, and then just use their MLS access. But
Right.
yeah, I think it helped a lot just because it helped me learn and build the confidence with like contracts, talking to people, dealing with buyers, dealing with sellers.
I'd say that's definitely like a strong suit when it comes to having your license, is that you already have a good understanding of all these contracts and like even the legal terms behind all these real estate situations that we encounter. So it definitely helps out a lot.
I feel like it builds credibility too.
Yeah.
So like it's cool because like I can handle deals where if they want a higher price point, I can list it, or if they want a lower price point, we can do a cash offer.
Exactly.
But I feel like they'll trust an agent more so than just the regular.
Average Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
No, completely. Do you see any downsides to having it?
I haven't had any downsides. I know some people, they think there is just because you have to disclose everything.
Right.
But I haven't seen any downsides.
And so that would be like the only downside, which really isn't a big deal
I
at
don't
all.
see it as
Just
it, yeah.
disclose that you are a licensed realtor, which,
exactly.
like you said, at the end of the day, that probably makes you more,
Credible.
responsible, respectable. So yeah, if you're looking to get into real estate investing,
I'll leave a link down below for the CE shop.
there it is.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Can you guys talk a little bit about maybe your process with finding and starting to trust contractors?
You want to hit on that one?
Sure. So to build a relationship, I'll start with finding the contractor.
Yeah.
So finding the contractor, we've kind of touched on this on a couple of different episodes, and one of like the go-to methods from what I always hear is just going to Home Depot early in the morning, right? You'll see all the GC trucks out there.
But we haven't.
Right, so we haven't done that.
We haven't done that yet at all.
Yeah, you kind of had like the way we got both the contractors that we use now is actually just like a random situation of how you got that.
That's nothing but God. So the first one that I ever worked with, shout out to Joel. Joel is amazing.
He's a great guy.
He actually worked with another investor, and then we partnered, and then that's how I got that connection with Joel, and then we had him work on some of our properties, and then we just started building relationships with other contractors. But those relationships, one came from Facebook.
Yeah.
No, I think it came from David and Isaiah.
It was
David and Isaiah. So a referral, and then we had him come out and stuff.
Yep.
So that's how we got one, and then the other one I met actually at a meetup through someone that my dad knew, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So met him at a real estate investing meetup, and then the last one met him at the bank.
Met him at the bank.
Yo, crazy scenario, because I'm over here at the bank just getting a check for our other contractor, and the guy that used to cut our grass at our 5-unit, he was talking to this other guy, and they introduced like me to that new contractor. Yeah. So we got to talk, and I was like, yeah, I'm just over here paying a contractor. And he was like, oh, nice. Yeah, I'm a contractor. I'm over here dealing with people that aren't paying me. But he saw that like we're paying and stuff, so had that good connection.
I kind of already built like a good reputation almost.
Exactly. So got his card, and we just called him one time, and he came out, and everything was good.
Yeah. So I'd say there's a couple different ways to go about building a relationship with these contractors and just knowing if you're capable of trusting them. Mm-hmm. One of them is just talking to other investors in your area, seeing if anybody's heard of this guy before, if they possibly worked with him, and just kind of getting their opinion on like how his job was, what was his timeline like, how was the cost of his work. Another option is to ask the contractor himself, like, hey, can I see some of your previous work that you've done?
That's what I did too. So like I did go to like different contractor sites. Yeah. So like I went all the way to Lancaster to go see a contractor to see what he was working on. So I see him doing the work. If they're actually there, they got the team and stuff. So
yeah, just kind of vetting him out, seeing if it's like a trustworthy person.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I think I had another thing there. Oh, I was gonna say another way is like kind of what we did, to be honest, which I don't recommend for everybody, but I mean it worked out for us. Is if you have like a multifamily building, especially if you have like a large commercial building, and you just want to try out this new contractor, I'd say just sign a contract with them to do one of the units in there and just see how they do. Because it's like if one of the units, maybe it's not as good quality as some of the other ones that your other contractors did, or maybe you'll notice that his timeline's a little bit longer, or he costs a little bit more, or it could be the opposite way where he's cheaper than other contractors, he got it done faster, and the quality is just as good. So that could be another possibility of like trying to see how good this new contractor that you met is, where it's not going to completely cost you an entire deal.
And I would even start them on a smaller project per se.
Yeah, kind of like what we did with who.
Yeah, see if they're good with small things, and then give them bigger things as they go on.
Right, exactly. So yeah, on our one property, I mean, we had our contractor go through and kind of do everything on our first duplex, and he got everything done. But then we had Section 8 inspection come out, and they called out like this one thing. It was just had to do with our balcony not being completely safe enough, whatnot, needed reinforced or something like that. So that's where you brought out this guy through your father that you had met at the meetup, and told him like, hey, like, do you mind coming out and like just fixing this balcony real quick, like seeing what his price point was, seeing how the quality of his work was, and the timeline, all stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you could always throw him on those smaller projects or a unit. Sometimes that might be a little bit much, but I like the smaller projects idea.
And go from there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Your next question is, I have fire damage to my house, to a house that I want to flip. How hard would that be?
Didn't we? I think we did a fire damage house, but we didn't flip it. We wholesaled it,
so
right?
Yeah, we've wholesaled 2 fire damage properties.
Yeah. We haven't, I don't know if we can really speak on that just because we haven't done a fire damage fix and flip before.
Yeah, I mean, I could take a guess at it, but I don't know how reputable that would be.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to.
That one might be a tough one, yeah. Just, I would say reach out to other real estate investors, go to a meetup, ask other people if they've done or dealt with those types of properties.
Yeah, definitely. Or comment down below if you have and help this person out.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for a fun one?
Yeah.
Oh, man, am I ready?
Yeah.
I don't know any of these.
Okay,
I don't know any of these questions.
It's here, so I'm going to read it. We'll have some fun.
Jeez.
Are y'all dating or planning to date? Or is everything like business casual?
Of course you had to throw this in there.
No, like I literally just screenshot what everyone said. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Business.
Yeah, it's literally so like people think this all the time. Like when
It's
we
true.
go out to appointments,
Yeah.
meetups, everywhere.
Sometimes if it's like an older person and like they think like, oh, you guys are such a cute couple
They
doing
think we're
business
a
together.
married couple
Sometimes
or
I'll just let it go. I'm like, yeah, no, she's a great wife, you know.
No. So, but it's hilarious. Like, but no, we're not. Not at all.
No, yeah, it's strictly business.
Yeah.
Like we touched on before. I mean, we grew up together. We've always known each other.
Yeah.
But it's never gone further than business. And
Yeah.
All right, cool. There's 2 other questions about your individual relationship statuses. Do you guys want to clear that up?
Sure, yeah, go
What
ahead.
is what is each of your relationship statuses?
He's super open about it.
Well, you go first.
I'm single as a Pringle.
Well, I'm single as a Pringle too.
Well, you just went on a. You want to talk about it?
What, dates and whatnot?
Yeah, you just went on a
Oh,
date.
Jesus, here we go.
Like, how was that? Did you guys do anything after that?
So,
Oh shoot!
yeah, no, I had a very cute date recently. I went to City Island. It was like a very it was a beautiful day out actually, like the hottest day we've had since last summer, which perfect day for it. So we went to a place called City Island, which is in Harrisburg. It's just an island in the middle of the river that they built up a little bit. So there's like the City Island Senator or the baseball team, the Senators play there, along with like the City Islander soccer team, and they have a mini golf course there, and they just opened this new beach club bar over there too. But me and this one girl, we went on a date over there. Had a little picnic just in the grass, just laid a blanket out, got some McDonald's beforehand, went over there, just chatted it up. And then after that, we went to go play mini golf, and then we hit up the bar after where we actually ran into some mutual friends. So it was nice. After that is closed curtains.
Closed curtains.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was decent.
Yeah.
In regards to like actually my intentions with a relationship at the moment, I have no desire to be in a relationship again, at least not yet. Like, I'm sure if like some absolute perfect person fell from heaven and like, hey, I love you, and be like, okay, yeah, we can probably date.
Yeah.
Like, just try it out. But yeah, no, for my personal opinion, I mean, I'm not looking to jump back into a relationship anytime soon. I was in a very long relationship, and we had our ups and downs. It was definitely a great learning experience, and I'm just not ready to commit to that, anything like that again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I am on like the dating apps and whatnot. So I much prefer like a more natural
Way of like meeting someone.
Yeah, like-
I feel the same way. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's like if I just run into you in public and like we strike up a conversation, I think you're pretty, you think I'm pretty, then yeah, like that's my ideal way. But I am on the dating apps, just going out there having fun, you know, going to the bars every now and then, trying different experiences, building my character, you could say.
Yeah. I feel like if the right guy came, like could come tomorrow, you know,
Yeah.
You'd
You'd be open to it?
I'd be open.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I am too.
Yeah.
It's like once I find a person, like I feel like I'll know now, like because I have such a good idea of like what I'm looking for at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. But no, 2 single Pringles.
Single Pringles.
All right, back to business. Next question is, how do you find good off-market deals? I'm in Berks County.
Oh, a fellow neighbor.
Yeah. I feel like all of our deals. So I recently did like
Yeah,
a
you
spreadsheet.
You did a spreadsheet of all our deals.
I like looking at the numbers, which is weird. Like,
No, I like it too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
but with ours, our main deals come from probate and letter-wise. What else? Cold calling. Mainly probates and cold calling since we stopped texting. And in regards to the list for cold calling, more so absentee owners. So like tired landlords, and
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much all we've done in terms of like outbound marketing. So yeah, I mean, as you were saying, like probates is really something that has helped, or not helped us, but like we've got a pretty good amount of deals from that.
Yeah.
Needless to say, our biggest deal that we've ever had was through SMS,
It was. And that was
Texting.
last year. That was the 5 unit.
right? Which is weird because I feel like if you're going through SMS, you're really going to have more of a quantity versus quality of leads. Because, you know, you send out your basic campaign like, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking in your area. Are you
Yeah.
interested? Blah, blah. And some people will just be like, yeah, and totally, like, come check it out. Blah, blah, blah. It's like not real interested, no motivation behind their intentions of having you come out and take a look at the property other than just wanting a number, right?
Dependent upon the list you target. And,
That's true.
You know,
it's true. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that can definitely play into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's where our best deal came from so far was SMS. But the amount of deals that
we've done have been probate,
cold calling,
and letters, and absentee owners.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. That last question was from Kareem Davidson and Shanice Ellison, by the way.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys. Keep submitting those questions.
Yeah, so shout out to them. And then this last question is from Zach Williamson, and he says, "I know it's a basic question, but why is your main focus investing over just continuing to be successful realtors? Would genuinely love to know the answer to this question."
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth.
I like to be my own boss.
Yeah.
I realize as an agent that you're not your own boss. The buyers and sellers become your boss. And if it's a Sunday, let's say, they want to see a property and the deadline's 8 p.m., you have the fiduciary duty to go show them that property, write that offer. And it's like, no, like for us being investors, we don't have to work on Sunday. We don't work on Sundays. Like sometimes we'll do Saturdays and stuff, but like,
if we're like working on a property and something needs done, like might pop out on a Sunday. I tend to mow lawns on Sundays. That's kind of just like, that's like subtle. My meditation.
Yeah.
Go out there.
But yeah, I just feel like that, like being my own boss, number one. And then also, like you said, generational wealth. And I have much more of a love for just buying the properties. And I don't know, I don't love walking buyers through properties just for them to say, oh, I don't like that rug color. I don't like the paint on the wall, when you can just paint it yourself, or, just small things like that, where being a real estate agent, you're dealing with the emotional side of, you're basically a therapist.
Pretty much.
Right. And
you're just trying to get this family to purchase their next primary.
And not gonna, like you're still like a therapist in regards to being an investor, just like hearing and like
the stories,
Yeah, like being a great listener.
Especially through those probates, you'll get some tragic stories going that way.
Yeah.
Something you gotta deal with though.
But I just lean towards like our goals align with the investor aspect of things than being an agent.
Okay. Yeah. To be completely honest, I for years only wanted to be an agent to a broker. Mm-hmm. Like that was like my whole intention when I first started getting, into real estate, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's just strictly from watching like $1 Million Listings as a kid.
Love that show, yeah.
Exactly. Right. You're watching those shows, and I mean, if you're located out in like Beverly Hills or Los Angeles, something like that, you see them walking through these multi-million-dollar houses, and they just get to go to these amazing, beautiful properties all the time.
And the commission's
like
$500,000.
Exactly, and they don't break it down to like how much does your broker get versus how much do you get, and what fees are taken out of that plus taxes. As a kid, you just see the whole number, and you're like oh my god, I want that. my mom didn't even make that 1 year.
Before I got my real estate license, I was binge watching every single show, like trying to take notes and stuff just to see. Okay, I got to do.
Your favorite was Selling Sunset, right?
I like Selling Sunset too.
Yeah, that was like your go-to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had the idea of being an agent and then transitioning into a broker for years on end, from like middle school till probably like towards the end of high school. Like I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I just started getting like, I wanted to dive deeper into it and like see who really makes the money, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's the investors and the developers. Yeah. They kind of go hand in hand. You can be a developer if you're an investor,
kind of
rectangle squares, you get it.
Yeah.
So I realized like they're the ones who are actually making like the good amount of money. And then I really got into the Bigger Pockets podcast, and I think I watched all 938 episodes that they have.
Oh shit.
So I just became obsessed with investing and learning every strategy possible and understanding like the different ways that you can create or generate money from a single transaction of a property. Yeah. Whether it's cash flow, appreciation, tax benefits, anything that goes along with it. So that's really where, and I've talked about this before, but like my why is just so deep to me. It's about like my family and my mom. Yeah. And that generational wealth, it like really is something that I want for not just the family I have now, but future family and future families after that, whatnot. Yeah. So that's really why I'm like dedicated towards investing and owning rental properties.
You know what? I was listening to a video today. I know we're cutting it a little long, but he was talking about like financial freedom, which everyone's like, I want financial freedom, but wouldn't it be so cool to have financial choice, he was saying, where you have the choice of basically buying anything you want without looking at the price tag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
No, absolutely. That's the best part right there.
Yeah,
Once you get to
literally.
that point, it's like, okay.
It's like, I want that private jet right there. Add it to the cart.
Purchase.
Yeah, literally.
You ever see the jet guy on TikTok?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. He's like, it's so cool because you see all the Iman Ghatzi actually went to the guy, but he's basically a jet broker. So he's like a salesman for these private jets. And he's like, dude, he just looks rich, like ridiculously rich. He's just like, he's an older dude. He's got blue eyes, like the slick back white hair. It's like the deep voice. He just plays the part so well.
Like Ben Mala, kind of?
Kinda, a little bit. So yeah, no, I love watching him.
Yeah, no,
completely
that's
random,
awesome.
but yeah, you gotta check it out.
But yeah, that's it for today's podcast episode. Make sure if you guys are watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Go subscribe if you're not subscribed.
We gotta build that up.
Yeah.
We want to get to 10,000 by the end of this year.
And follow if you're on Spotify and Apple.
Mm-hmm. TikTok, Instagram, check it all out.
Yeah, comment down below if you guys have any questions for us or any ideas, any guests you guys want us to have on, or any topics you guys want us to talk about. But with that being said, shout out to Ben behind the camera. Shout out to Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.